friends, I'm so glad you're here today. My name is Alpha and I am going to be walking you through how to make a like a paint swatch of your paint set. Now this is my kid's set, and the reason I'm using this is just because it's got a lot less colors than mine does, and it also goes to show that even if you have a paint set for your kids, like even they can have a color swatch so they can actually see what these colors look like, because this doesn't always look like this to them, right? So it kind of helps to see it when you have a paint swatch of your watercolors. I have a much bigger set that I bought a few years ago because I use it to travel with, and I've still had it. And I use this giant paint swatch to help me kind of understand what colors I'd like. So I had created this a while back. I have one for all my watercolor sets and palettes. And so I actually just wanted to use the Crayola one to show you. This is my son's, but any watercolor set you have, you kind of want to have a paint set to go with it. So let's get started on that. You're gonna need some sort of paper. This is the paper that we're gonna use to kind of create another one. I figured I'd just make one for my son and record that. You're gonna need a brush. Any kind of brush will work for watercolor. I will probably either use my number 8 or number 4. You need some water and a paper towel, and that'll get you going basically. But what I like to do for them is make it to, so there's 16 colors, and I kind of did 8 and 8, exactly how like they would look at it here, so that they can just put it next to them and be able to understand the colors. So let's get started. It is totally up to you whether or not you'd like to do the white square. I just did it, but now I'm gonna do some of the other colors. You can use the brush that comes with the set, but my kids destroy these brushes because they like to paint like this, you know, all the time. And so I'm just gonna leave this in here, and I'll use my brush to make the paint swatch. So I'm gonna dip into some water, and I'm just gonna wet it a little bit, just a little square, and then pick up some paint and just kind of drop it in. It's up to you whether you'd like to add more color to really understand what the pigment will look like, but this kind of helps just gauge where you could take it. You could add more color to this or not, and you'd have a good idea of how the color is going to come across. Dry my brush, do the next one. We'll do this blue. You can see that my kids don't understand mixing yet, so I've been trying to teach them just to use this side. I washed that out, and making them understand that, you know, they can mix the colors onto that side, but obviously it's a little harder thing to teach when they're this tiny. So I'm just gonna go through and do all the colors. I'm gonna speed up the video because obviously I don't work that fast, but this would be a really long video if I actually just kept it going right now, like I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna speed it up. right, I gave it some time to dry and it is good to go. And now you can kind of see why I create these, because if you see that this purple, I mean, there's no chance you're gonna, I mean, my kids definitely won't remember that, right? So it helps them to see it, but just like them, it helps me to have a visual aid as well when I'm painting or mixing colors, to know that, you know, if I want a green in between these two, what to mix and things like that. So it is so great to have a little paint swatch for any watercolor set, whether it's a kid's watercolor set or a fancy one that you've got. I highly recommend making one of these. I hope that was really helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try to answer as many as I can, and happy painting, guys.